Hey everybody, how's it going? It is the RambleCast. It's November 3rd, and I'm starting late as usual. Corbin is also here. He contributed to the starting late. Um,
Hello.
and yeah, so I
We're here.
yeah, we are here.
It's a Wednesday. We've made it through yet another week of this terrible year.
At least it's not 2020. It's 2020.2.
Yeah. March 2020 never ended.
Oh, come on. We are past March. We're solidly into April 2nd.
Yeah. This is like that joke some old people do where they're like, "Oh, I never turned 30. I'm just turned 29 for like the 17th time." That's how I feel about March 2020. Like we're in like the however many increments since March 2020, but we never got into April.
I like how you say it's the joke old people do. Give it a few years. You'll be doing that joke a lot sooner than you think. Um, Diablo, you know what? I agree. Today really has actually felt like a Monday for some reason. I can't explain why. But whatever the reason, it's unpleasant. I don't like it. I object.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been distracted today, but I've mostly been doing lovely Black Friday preparations, which that date gets earlier every year.
I was just about to say, it's weird to talk about Black Friday preparations when we're still in the single digits for the day for the month.
Yeah. Well, the difference is now I'm like actually helping plan and set up things versus before whenever I worked at Android Police or PC Gamer, I would just come in during like weird times when the senior people couldn't and write up stuff or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, it does get earlier every year. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the intensity won't be as bad on like the actual day of and the day before, because it would be cool to not work during most of Thanksgiving, but I'm sure that's probably what's going to happen anyways.
Well, so I mean, I didn't actually really foresee this as a topic, but this actually kind of does warrant one. For anyone who hasn't heard about this, there's a ongoing theory that due to the chip shortage and just general shortages of everything, also the fact that like transport ships have been stalled getting into the country and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the different reasons. There's an ongoing theory that companies are going to just generally not have inventory, and as a result, they're basically just going to say, you know what, we're only going to put crap on sale. And if that happens, this might actually be like the deadest of Black Fridays ever. And honestly, part of me thinks that that's half true. I think it will happen a little bit. I just don't think it's going to be that bad.
I don't know. I'm not expecting to see sales on stuff that's been consistently out of sale for the past couple months. Like I'm not expecting hot PS5 deals, and I'm not expecting great discounts on RTX graphics cards. But it does seem like it seems like the same pattern as last year, where there's like we're already seeing like new low prices for a lot of stuff, especially products that only came out in the past couple months. So it seems to be holding true to previous years, where we're getting slightly better sales leading up. I don't know how many, like, because like obviously a lot of these stores, they do still save some stuff until like that weekend. But but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like there's been anything super crazy when stores do that the past while, just because it's not how shopping works anymore. No one's they don't need to get people to wrangle into a Best Buy with like one specific sale, and then while they're in there they buy a bunch of other crap. That's not how retail works anymore.
No. So yeah, I mean,
that being said, I do remember Best Buy on Black Friday a couple years ago, and that's when I got my first Google Home Mini. Before Google started giving them out if you like blinked in their general direction.
Yeah. I still need to figure out what to do with the 3 I have. Oh, that did a lot of good moving that.
Yeah, but like I have seen, there are a couple decent things that showed up already. The new Nest Hub is $50. That's the first time it's gone that low. Again, like I don't need one, but like I guess if someone needs one, that's like the best price I've seen that's not from like a weird eBay seller. Those lovely Sony XM4 whatever headphones are back to their lowest prices are already. Galaxy Watch 4 is $50 off. That's kind of nice. First major sale for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I will call out a couple of points on this. Just on the things that you've listed. The first is these sales are already happening. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
right.
They're obviously getting that like that pre-Black Friday premise of we want to get these things sold. Chances are because they probably have a lot of inventory that they want to move. Maybe there's new versions coming, maybe not. I no idea. Just the hypothetical, they probably do want to move some inventory. The other thing that stands out to me is, and I guess it's kind of on that same general path, but these are also kind of older products. I mean, not like old, but
yeah, some of them, yeah. Like the new Nest Hub came out in like February, I think.
Yeah, that's
the Watch 4 is only like 2 months old though.
Yeah, the Watch 4 would be the exception to that.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, smartwatches seem to be one of those things where if you like when you launch it, you've got only like a 2 to 3 month window where you're going to sell that at a good price. After that, you really have to start discounting.
I'll put the roundup from Ars Technica in Discord of what they've seen so far, because their page seems like the best one I've seen so far of like things that are actually on sale, not what half the internet does, where they don't look at price histories or anything. They're just pasting stuff in. But yeah, I mean, like I don't think I'm buying anything this year. I didn't really need to last year. I'm pretty good with what I have. This consumerism isn't going to work on me this time. Also, I just bought a bike, so I don't. A little bit tapped out.
Yeah, I just spent all the money I'm going to be spending for a good while. So, same spot ish.
Now the big question is, will there be a Pixel deal?
Oh, that is a good question.
Because I feel like especially the past like 2 or 3 years, everyone's always like, no, there's not going to be one. It's already cheap enough, and then there is one.
I mean, do you think anyone's been saying that the Pixels are already cheap enough? I feel like that's not actually a thing anyone's saying.
I don't know. I might be in a bubble.
Because
I remember that. Well, the Pixel. I don't know. I might be thinking of like the A's, the
Yeah.
Pixel A phones.
Yeah, the A series, I think people say that. I don't think anyone says that about the regular Pixels until the Pixel 6. Because the 4 was... Everyone laughed at how absurdly overpriced the 4 was. I think by most standards, everyone felt like the 5 was also overpriced. Like, it wasn't as bad, but it wasn't very good either.
Yeah, especially because I think it kind of got wiped out by the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, because I think that was $50 or $100 cheaper, and it had like actual flagship hardware in it. It wasn't whatever upper mid-range chip the Pixel 5 had.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I think the 5 was the phone that literally nobody wanted. It's not that it was a bad phone. Not that I didn't have one, so I can't really totally judge on this, but it wasn't a bad phone. It's just every single person's
it was a
interests
side
were
grade
not met by
at
it.
best.
Yeah, but no one's interests were met by it. It wasn't cheap enough to be the like budget phone everyone wanted. Like it wasn't the next Pixel 5 or 4, whichever one you want to frame up as the example. It wasn't a flagship phone, so you didn't have your like actual super awesome flagship power. Like every single thing you could pick about that phone, it failed to be any of the things anyone wanted it to be.
But so I'm still working on Black Friday goodness. This is the first year I won't be in the trenches with the people at PC Gamer, which wasn't always like, I mean, everyone was nice there, but like just the subject matter was not that fun to deal with. I mean, I got paid pretty well for that though, so I never really had a reason to complain.
That didn't stop you.
Oh, of course.
No, anyway. Sorry, I'm fiddling with trying to set up my camera for some unboxing later.
Did you get your thing yet?
One of 2 arrived.
Okay.
No phone yet, which is freaking FedEx. Frickin' farkin' FedEx. I hate that company.
I have seen more complaints about shipping this year than ever before.
Well, what gets me is UPS came by and delivered that package today. And here's the thing. The UPS app shows me where the vehicle is as it's approaching. It gives me a pretty good window of when it's going to get here. When I say good window, I mean it's still a several hour window, so it's not like, this is still on par with, hey, your cable guy's going to show up somewhere between 8 and 8 kind of thing. But, UPS, it's
right.
like, they're still giving you, I think, a 4-hour window. I'm okay with that. It's not good, but it's sufficient. It's better than FedEx saying literally somewhere between 8 and 8. And the delivery driver came to the door, he knocked on it, physically handed me the package, no tossing it on the ground, no weird, like, terrible behavior. And like, that was it. He I said thanks to him, he was nice, like, good delivery experience. Cheers, UPS. You did, I don't want to say the bare minimum, you did exactly what I hoped to have from a delivery. Granted, I'm totally okay with someone coming in, setting a package on the right next to the door, ideally still knocking. But yeah, this is totally okay with me. FedEx, I can guarantee right now that delivery driver is probably going to, there's like a 50-50 chance they will not even pull up and put the package on, like, in front of the door. And even if they do, they will not knock. No chance of that. That's forbidden for them. Like, every single thing about the experience is gonna be worse. And there's at least a small chance that they will throw the package. I've seen it enough times. I've actually watched packages literally bounce from the throws that FedEx delivery people did. This is all assuming that a delivery person will even make it here today. Watching the tracking, which is not even telling me where it's actually at, like which place it has been. I can't even tell that much from their tracker. Forget tracking the vehicle it's on. Like, none of that's going to happen. Yeah, the thing is, FedEx is delivering so many packages. The reason you're getting, or the reason for people hearing more complaints is because FedEx is just, they're doing so much business and they're terrible at it.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Daisy. FedEx was, they delivered my bike, and the bike company definitely checked whatever box that said, like, this needs a signature. Don't leave this in front of the door. Guess what FedEx did?
I mean, I could guess, but I don't have to guess.
Yeah.
I literally know.
Yeah. And, like, it's a good thing I was, I don't even think they knocked, now that I think about it. I think they just left it there, and I heard, like, the banging from them, like, pushing the box down the stairs to my door. So, yeah, it's a good thing, like, I heard that, and I was here, so no one jacked my new bike.
Yeah, exactly.
I think FedEx is the perfect counter argument to all those weird conservative people who are like, capitalism is the perfect system. Competition drives companies to be good. No. FedEx disproves your theory, sir.
The problem is I'm not saying they conservatives, I'm just saying anyone who would support this in any fashion, they're all going to point to this and say, no, this is an example of capitalism working, because clearly UPS is charging too much, or UPS won't work with them, or come up with some other scenario, some other excuse that all basically tracks back to FedEx is doing a thing that somebody out there wants because they're successful, which proves somebody wanted that.
Can you imagine if that's probably why Karl Marx made the Communist Manifesto, because he missed too many FedEx deliveries. It's like, something's up here.
Oh my god, I love that. I want that to be true.
Seize the means of shipping.
Oh jeez, that's awesome.
I have a fun FedEx fact that's actually fun.
Oh.
Did you know they were the I believe second sponsor for Space Mountain at Walt Disney World?
So,
which is an interesting choice.
So FedEx put money towards another thing that is never on time, seems to always be delayed, and people really like when they get to have it, but spend a lot of their time complaining about how long it's taking. I pulled that out of the hat. Admit
That's
it.
pretty good. Yeah, that would be funny if, like, in the front of the queue line, instead of having the like, it's where they have like the 90 minutes from this point, it's just like, you may get to the end of the line by the end of the day. Yeah,
I feel like that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh jeez, FedEx just makes it so easy to bag on them.
Mm-hmm. They're never good.
Well, what's kind of ironic, does it matter to actually name the person? There is one person I've known who defended FedEx. and it was David at AP. He would complain endlessly that UPS was terrible in his place, but FedEx was somehow the good delivery company. He's the only person I think I've ever really heard who said that FedEx was like unabashedly good. Which I choose to believe that the only reason for this is FedEx was just not as bad, and UPS for him was terrible. So by comparison, FedEx seems okay, but in reality, it's still terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe FedEx does a better job if you like pay them more for like the faster shipping or whatever, and then just everyone else, when you order something from a store and get it shipped, they just like purposely give it a few kicks before it ends up at your door.
Okay, you think that? You say that? I'd like to point out, very legitimately, a company sent me a package last week, overnighted it from New York City. I mean, this is not a cheap shipping job. Overnighted it. I didn't get it until Monday of this week. It sat. Like, they could have delivered it, or not early. They could have delivered it on time. They didn't. They just let it sit in another location over the whole weekend. They could have delivered on Friday. I know it was actually possible. They could have delivered on Friday. They chose not to. So they don't even actually deliver overnight packages within it. It had more than 24 hours. Admittedly, it was a fairly tight window, but they had... The label was created on Tuesday. They had the package, I think it was either Wednesday night or Thursday super early. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday night. Anyway, yeah, I'm just saying, like, overnight usually means a thing in the English language, and apparently FedEx doesn't believe so. So yeah, you can even spend a lot of money and not get your packages.
It's overnight, just not this night.
When you pay for overnight, what you're really paying for is one night for the package to sleep. It's like a hotel stay.
Yeah.
Unless it's anywhere near the weekend, in which case they get free weekends.
Okay. I was just putting up my pizza shit. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't switch back to that view. I left that Ars Technica Black Friday post in the stream for way too long.
Oh. I mean, it's a good article. I
suppose
stealing things from it.
Well, we all do. I mean, I initially used Ron's post about Tensor pretty extensively for the editorial I wrote today. By the way, did you see that?
I have not had a chance to read it yet. I was doing deal things up until this started.
Yeah. So,
and also GitHub things.
Yeah, Corbin is finding ways to abuse GitHub's goodwill.
No, I'm not mining crypto.
Yeah. God.
People were doing that.
Yeah.
That's why they had to cramp down on the 3 minutes.
God, people suck.
Crypto nerds continue to find new ways to ruin things for everyone. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just waiting because I know it's coming. There's going to be another spree of stealing like Amazon AWS servers and just running crypto on those until somebody catches on, and then people just make off with the crypto. Like, big deal, they lost, whatever. But if they can steal Amazon servers for a few hours, that's worth it.
Yeah. And there was that whole, I remember there was some article, I think it was like Business Insider or someone, post that was making the rounds about like some jackass who like had like a mining rig that he would just take to like random like coffee shops and fast food places, just plug it into their outlet and run it. And he was like, "Look, it's free electricity." Like, no, like,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, like you're not outsmarting anyone, buddy. You're just being a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not surprising. I get why. And to some extent, like the places he was going, I remember thinking, hey, like these are places that are sort of abusing people by selling absolutely worst possible quality of food. But at the same time, it's like I also don't want to like I don't want to reinforce the jerk who is also terrible. I don't want to forgive him the fact that he's an awful human being.
Yeah. Anyways, that's why there's no sales on graphics cards anymore, and there hasn't been for a year.
And there won't be.
Because crypto nerds ruined it.
Have you ever looked for something you can put in a sandbag and all you're thinking is, damn, everything around me, I would be too nervous about dropping. So
yeah,
weirdest, I mean, weirdest possible problem.
I mean, I've got a watch here I don't particularly like. Wow, Daisy is eating her food very loud. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. There's not a whole lot happening besides you know, the same Android 12 stuff that's been going on. There was some news about Dropbox news. I need to read that later. There was something I saw. Can't find it now.
I picked exactly the wrong time to try to stand up and adjust this because you're busy trying to figure out what you're going to say.
Because my brain's not working. Yeah. I saw. Okay. Well, I did see something that made me like roll my eyes super hard out of my head.
So you did read my post.
Yeah. It was about Instagram announcing that they're doing link previews in Twitter again. So if you tweet a Instagram link, it won't just be like a link with nothing to look at. It actually has like a tiny preview of the image and the title of the post and everything in the little card preview. You know, like every single article and YouTube video and every other website has. And this is only noteworthy because when Instagram first launched, it showed previews just fine whenever you put a link on Twitter or whatever other social networks existed in 2012. But they removed it because they wanted more interaction on the website and app. So if you can see part of the picture without clicking through, Instagram didn't like that very much. So they took that away in 2012. It was a slightly big thing. And it led to all these like different hacks people do to recreate it. So like one like I think one of the most popular applets on If This Then That, which is like an automation platform, is one where when you post a new thing to Instagram, If This Then That will create a tweet with that picture embedded just in the tweet as well as the link.
Right.
Which is very fun to deal with. And now they're doing the link, and I love what their tweet said because they said it would never happen, ... Twitter card previews start rolling out today, and then like the two eyes emoji. and they said, now when you share an Instagram link on Twitter, a preview of that post will appear. And then they did a little like this emoji, like yay. So I feel like this is a lesson in that you have to be proud of yourself for even the smallest things. You know, like if you got out of bed today, good job. You know, we're all dealing with a lot of shit right now. You got out of bed, you went to the bathroom, good job. Instagram added 3 lines of HTML to their website today, and they're patting themselves on the back. You got to do it too.
I mean, they got to aim pretty high at this stage. You know, clicking the or unchecking the box that says disable function.
Yeah,
they did that, and then
they hit so
save.
Funny. Yeah, and it's so funny because they're like this isn't like actually working yet, as far as I could see. Like people were trying Instagram links and it wasn't doing anything.
Great.
They did say start today, so I don't know. Maybe they rolled it out to 1% of posts.
I was
going to
say it's a Google style rollout.
Yeah, but so all I've seen is the sample screenshot. They've actually I'll put this in the Discord so people can look at this too if they want. But there it is. Yeah, so they posted a screenshot, and it's a link for an Instagram Reel, which is their TikTok sort of format. So like they're probably only doing this because TikTok is getting a lot of traction, because they don't do weird shit with, you know, always forcing you to download an app or go to their website, like, or in the sense that like it's a video, so it doesn't matter if a single frame is in a preview.
Yeah,
that actually helps you more than it takes away interaction. So of course they're only doing this because they need a leg up against TikTok, so they're going to do the thing every website does, which is have a preview for a link when it's embedded somewhere.
I love that you're using TikTok, the company that everyone loves to complain about and is currently, well, was and kind of still is presumed to just be the evil CCP spying on us. You're using that as the reference point for, no, they're the good guys because they don't do terrible shit like Facebook.
Well, no, just like Instagram wants to be a video thing now because that's what's popular at this very second.
I know. I'm not judging what you're saying. I'm saying that there's an irony to the fact that now the bar is, at least you're not this other thing that is also
at least you're showing a preview for a link, like, again, every website does.
Yeah.
And someone else pointed out that, like, in that screenshot, like, Twitter has a card format, like that when you're like, there's normal HTML meta tags which generally work with everything. So if you take a link to my website, which just has like the normal HTML meta tags, and you put it in Twitter or Slack or Discord or whatever, it'll give you like the right title and then like the right description, but not really anything beyond that. But Twitter specifically has its own card format where you can like choose what the preview looks like. So you can pick like, I want like an article style preview where it has like an image and then a description below that, or there's like one where the image is smaller or not visible at all, and Instagram has chosen the small one because so you still click through. So all those automations and stuff for like injecting the actual image file into a tweet are still better. That's still preferable. It's something. But I was also reading another announcement where Dropbox kind of has like simple automation stuff now. Like they have a thing where if a file like is uploaded and matches a certain pattern, then it can move it to somewhere else, which is handy because I'm using if this and that for at least one thing related to that. So I'll have to try that out later. But
that's cool.
yeah, like I was doing a thing where Samsung still put screenshots in the same folder as camera photos. So everything that has any sort of automatic action based on photos you take with your phone, like Google Photos or Dropbox or OneDrive, will recognize screenshots as photos taken with your camera, and then we'll upload those. So if you have a Samsung phone, your Google Photos library is usually filled with screenshots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a while I couldn't like really do anything about that except just every once in a while log into my Dropbox on the web and do a search for everything ending in .png and just deleting it. Same with Google Photos. I don't Samsung phones are like
PNG. I thought Samsung was super into JPEG screenshots.
Yeah, it was JPEG. I believe it's still JPEG by default, but they let you pick.
Oh, okay.
So I went back to PNG, which again, whatever. But so I finally, if this and that, added a couple months ago the option to monitor new uploads to a folder and move files. So I set up a whole like multi-step thing where it waits for every new image that gets uploaded to my Dropbox account. It checks to see if it's a PNG file, and if it is, then it moves it out of that folder. Which, like, I shouldn't have to set up, but it does work.
You would think.
Yeah, I really don't know why, like, Google Photos especially hasn't added any mitigation against this. Like, I know Samsung's, like, not doing what an Android device should do. Like, they're breaking defaults in a way that breaks things, but, like, it probably wouldn't be that much effort for Google to add like a switch in Google Photos that's like, don't upload screenshots. But whatever. Yeah, there was speculation for a while that Android 12 was going to clamp down on device makers changing where screenshots are stored, but that did not happen.
No.
So. In the same way that it seemed like, was it Android 10 or 11 was going to mandate AB partitions, and that just didn't happen. Presumably because Samsung doesn't want it to happen, and they ship the most Android devices. So,
well, that's.
What are you gonna do? Tell Samsung they can't do something with Android? They'll go back to Tizen. No, they won't.
Yeah, I that's never happening. But still, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that Google says they want to do, and then at a certain point, all that happens is they get a little bit of pushback, and they're like, nah, never mind. You know what? We thought better of it. Someone convinced us otherwise, and that someone is pretty much always Samsung. And it's pretty much always because Samsung's like, no, we just don't want to do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so others, it's kind of been slow news.
Okay,
not a lot happening.
I will talk a little bit about the editorial that I did. And it's kind of funny because, strictly speaking, I don't think this was really intended originally to be an editorial per se. It just kind of turned into one kind of by accident. So basically, the post starts as an explainer for Tensor. I mean, by now I think almost everyone has kind of read what's in Tensor, what it's about. It's got the super quick TLDR of that section is it has most of the standard cores that you'd find in like a Snapdragon or Exynos processor. It has 8 CPU cores, 2 big, 2 middle size, and 4 little ones. Google actually put this stuff in the announcement, so it's not like this is really new news. But Google did do something a little bit unusual. Also, this leaked in the past. They decided to use 2 X1 cores instead of 1 X1 core, which everyone else was doing. And they traded out one of the or to make space for the 2 cores, they traded out one of the mid-size cores. AnandTech covers this incredibly well, way better than I even tried to. So if you want dirty details on this, like all the crazy crap, go read AnandTech's post. It's fantastic. And then I went on to discussing basically what Google's special sauce is, all the additions. Basically the Content Hub, the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit, the I didn't get super deep into it, but also the ISP, the Image Signal Processor. And what was the other thing? I'm blanking. Anyway, so yeah, basically a discussion of that stuff, kind of where it factors in, etc. Again, I'm trying to go with the TLDR here. But at the end, I raised a question. What is Google going to do with Tensor? Because, I mean, this is a project that it took, so far, 4 years, maybe technically longer, to build this. That's a lot of time investment for a chip that basically only does what every other chip already did, plus it runs machine learning stuff really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a lot. That is a huge investment for something that effectively ties everybody else. And to me, this stands out as this poses to me a really big question. What happens next? Where does Tensor go? So I kind of raise this as a continuation of the question, but I think it's my answer. I think Google is going to end up selling Tensor. Just like Qualcomm sells processors, I think Google is going to get into this. And to be clear, because I saw at least one commenter completely misunderstood what I was saying in that. But to be clear, I'm not saying Google itself will physically be the manufacturer and seller of processors. Rather, they'll be licensing out manufacturing of this, or manufacturing of their cores, to Samsung, and Samsung will do the selling. But basically, that's kind of where I see it going, or at least that's one possibility. What do you think on this? Do you see, for example, OnePlus finding themselves in the position of choosing between Qualcomm and like a Tensor chip? Is that a world you see coming? Do you think OnePlus, for example? I mean, it could be any company, but I can't not keep thinking OnePlus in this. But do you think any company is out there going, hey, Google has done this thing, we kind of want part of this too?
I don't know. I guess it would depend on how involved Samsung wants to be, because they don't license their Exynos chips very often. It happens sometimes, but if Samsung wanted to do that, or if they wanted to help Google license Tensor, it would sort of be competing with themselves and Google at the same time. And also, if Tensor ends up being a success, and if it's something that people look for in their phones, I don't know if Google will feel an incentive to give it to other companies. I don't know. And also, I'm not. I don't know if Google will be able to. Like, I know MediaTek is already has been filling sort of like the AMD slot in the smartphone ecosystem for a while now, where they're never quite good with well, AMD's great with performance now, but in the before times when AMD couldn't make a CPU to save their life, they occupied the whole bottom end of the spectrum pretty solidly. Um, so I don't, I don't know if Samsung would be into it, and I'm kind of unsure if anyone would be interested in buying it. I think maybe if Google had the cross-team communication that they usually lack, and they could go to OEMs and basically almost sell this. Like, I know we've been talking. I'm gonna bring up Tech Tales again. I'm sorry, but I know we've been talking Tech Tales about how in like the 90s, Apple worked with Motorola, and so Motorola made the hardware, and Apple made the Mac OS, and then they would just go to companies and say, "Do you want to make a Mac? You get your chip from them, you get the OS from us, and it works well together, and you can just make the rest of it and sell it." So I don't know, maybe Google could do something like that with Android, where they could be like, "You want to make an Android phone? Great. Here's the chipset. Here's the Android build ready to go." Like there's companies that do this already, but I think maybe if Google wanted to, they could probably make a business out of basically making like a Pixel Tensor like white label phone and seeing if anyone is interested in buying that. Again, I don't really know. I'm kind of doubt they would go for that angle just because Google's hardware people don't really seem to be that tied into the software people. So I don't know.
It's interesting you say that because I think weirdly I think the software people at Google, I agree. Oops, wow, that actually triggered my... Oh, come on, mic off. Jeez. Damn thing. I think... Okay, so when you say the hardware people, I know what you mean. You're talking about the team that makes Pixel. I'm making that distinction because we now know the Google Silicon team, and that is a different group. Objectively, they could be called the hardware guys, but they're a different kind of hardware team. And the thing I find interesting is I think that hardware team, the Silicon team, I think they're very in touch with software teams. Because, very unsurprisingly, the software teams are building stuff that's going to run right on that silicon, and that's a big deal for them. The hardware team that actually makes Pixels, that team I think mostly doesn't talk to a whole lot of the software guys, except maybe the camera team. That would make a lot of sense. The camera team kind of has to talk a lot closer, but everyone else, yeah, I could kind of see they're pretty disconnected. But this kind of leads back to some of the things that I think make Tensor that make Google want to do this, and that would make other OEMs want to do this, because there's actually a lot of potential incentives here. So one point I raised in the article is that if you look at everything Tensor does, I mean, performance-wise, the AnandTech post basically breaks this down. Tensor is... If it had good heat management in the Pixel 6, Tensor would be, at best, okay for gaming. Like, it's not actually that good because it has heat issues. But fundamentally, it's just an okay choice for gaming and not much else. When you compare the processor performance, it's basically arguably on par with a Snapdragon 888. And so, effectively, this is just exactly what you would get if you had a Snapdragon 888 or worse. Which then you look to what Google's hyping, which is obviously all the ML features, and now ask yourself, what software is using this? Do you think many third-party app developers are getting a lot of use out of this? I honestly don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
So this leaves us with the much more likely answer, which is Google made Tensor for Google. They built the Pixel 6 with Tensor so that they could run Google software really, really well. And there's nothing wrong with that. but fundamentally it's running Google's software very, very well. Now, take this kind of a step further. Who might want to do that too? I mean, Google's partners might. They, Google's software is running on every single Android phone that has a Play Store. Chances are, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anyone's even aware of, they are running more Google software every day than all the other apps combined on their phone. All their notifications are running through Google software. Their search, the web browser that is embedded into all of their apps, not even just their actual web browsers, but any app that shows anything that's rendered that way. Let's see, your what else? I had a couple of other things in my head and they just vanished. Anyway, you've got all this Google software running on your phone. You got to figure Google wants more of its software running on every phone, and it wants to enable that software to do more. So it's in Google's best interest if more companies actually run Tensor. And in return, what would those companies want? Maybe they want some of the extra photo processing capabilities. Maybe they want, I don't know, go down to the mile-long list of all the things that could be offered, like live transcriptions and, I don't know, whatever else. Think of all the exclusives that were announced during the Pixel stream, and just imagine, would OnePlus want this stuff? Let's say maybe for free, maybe not for free, I don't know. But if Google basically said, hey, go buy Tensor and we'll give you all this other stuff as a bonus. But anyone running a Qualcomm chip or MediaTek or anything else, we got nothing against you, but our stuff won't run on your chip. Sorry. That's just how it goes. Now all of a sudden, I've just described a scenario where Google sure as hell wants Tensor in a lot of phones, not just because it's profitable, but because it gives their own software more reach. And other people are going to want it because all of a sudden there's all this free software engineering that gives them a massive advantage in their argument against the competition.
Right.
Suddenly, this is Google controlling huge chunks of the market and undercutting everything that Qualcomm can be or can do. I'm seeing this as a possibility. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm not saying that this will necessarily be part of the strategy, but I can certainly see it becoming that. It's possible.
Yeah, I could see it for maybe third-party phones and tablets. I see Diablo brought up. Do you think Tensor could go into automotive too? I don't really see Tensor's utility in anything except like phones and tablets, because it's really geared towards power efficiency for like normal tasks, and that's not really an issue in a car where you're not short on power with a car. Same with like maybe a Chromebook. Like I don't really think this would be any better, or might even be a little bit worse than Qualcomm's chips they make for the Windows 10 laptops, which you can't get much worse than that, but it might be worse.
Okay, well, so first off, just to throw it out there, I want to hit each of the categories just because. So we're in agreement, watches totally make sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Especially because Qualcomm's wearable chips are terrible.
Yeah.
So
that really makes
the bar's
sense.
pretty low to be better than that.
Yeah. And like half of the hype. Well, sorry, not half. A small part of the hype for Tensor was the context hub, which I hate that name. It's literally the name of a component. It's one of their cores. It's basically their TPU, but the tensor processing unit, but done as a low power mode. So yeah, it's basically just for your ambient computing. It's for the now playing feature, for example. It's good at doing little tiny things in the background. That's perfect for a watch. I could see that becoming the main reason to put Tensor into a watch, is to run Context Hub. So watches, I think it makes sense. I personally could see Chromebooks taking on Tensor, in part because Google is definitely going to do a reference board for that someday. So it'll just be a thing that'll exist anyway. But in general, I could also see them wanting to do it because they have a system. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, there is a market for low-end Chromebooks, so they could make a board based on that instead of just whatever bottom of the barrel CPU Intel can provide, and maybe they could undercut Intel a little bit there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not a whole lot of ARM Chromebooks anymore, it seems like. There were definitely more a couple of years ago, especially when Samsung was really pushing the Chromebook Plus and Pro. They're not really doing that anymore. Like, all the Galaxy Chromebooks are Intel based. So I don't know. But,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't follow the Chromebook market that closely, so yeah, I hadn't really noticed that before, but I could still see a reason why Google might push the Chrome OS with Tensor angle, because again, like, they have Assistant, they do have some of their features and functions on a Chromebook. I'm not saying it'll necessarily become a thing, but I could see an effort to add some ML based stuff to Chromebooks. Who knows? Like, they might even. This is about to sound real stupid, but I could even see them going so far as to say, "Hey, here's a video, or sorry, not video, but a photo editing app for your Chromebook, and yeah, it's totally all the stuff that was a Pixel 6 exclusive, just done as a Chromebook app, and
right,
you know, but you can only get it on a Chromebook with Tensor, you know." I mock it, but I could see that being part of the marketing push. As far as it goes, I mean, not that it matters, but you mentioned auto. I actually could kind of see it being an auto, but it would be, but more in the sense of like gesture recognition, being able to control your car, or like the car kind of taking surroundings to make smarter adjustments. I don't know. I'm sure there's some scenario where that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, anyway, sorry. You were saying before we went off on that tangent.
Yeah, but yeah, I wonder if the growing emphasis on Linux stuff is why there are fewer ARM Chromebooks. Because, like, obviously you can run Linux on ARM, but I know they've been really focusing on, like, a lot of software that isn't open source and really isn't recompiled for ARM, like Wine and Steam. Like, there's the whole rumor mill for a while that they're trying to get some kind of Steam integration on Chromebooks, and none of that would work on an ARM board because Valve doesn't support ARM at all.
Oh, you're right.
And none of the Steam games would run because Linux doesn't have a Rosetta 2. So.
Yeah, you're right. That would be pretty messy. Though, you know, I know none of that stuff works today, but that doesn't mean that Steam won't see a reason to support it in the future. And granted, just even if Steam does support it, it doesn't mean anyone's going to develop games and build them for ARM, but maybe that's future.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, like I'm trying to think. I can't really think of the last time made an ARM. Notice an ARM Chromebook. Let me see. I know they have this page where they have like all the Chromebook boards. I wonder what the last time they made one with ARM was. Let's see.
Let's see. Really quickly skimming over comments. Diablo said, oh wait. Yeah, they really wanted it. They really wanted on this focus to mixed words a little there. They really wanted to focus on improving AI and language. I assume that's language recognition. So once those are done, they'll definitely focus on improving performance for raw power. I mean, I totally agree, but I don't know that it's necessarily going to be. I don't know that it'll become a focus. I'm thinking that the next couple of Tensor chips are probably going to be still continuing Google's focus on its own stuff, the ML and AI related things, and they'll just leave performance up to Samsung to solve. And down the road, I could see Google turning around and saying, all right, you know, Samsung, you've done well, but we actually want to try our own hand at this. I don't know. That's just me guessing, but it seems pretty plausible in my mind.
Well, I was looking through the list of Chrome OS boards, and there are a couple recent ARM ones. It looks like Lenovo's Chrome tablet thing, the Duet 5, that was ARM. Acer made a Chromebook 514 that has a MediaTek chip in it. So they're definitely still happening. It's just most of these are x86 64.
I wonder if that's just Intel being very aggressive. Maybe Intel has been pushing hard to get some of its stuff into the mix, and presumably Google probably hasn't really fought that.
Yeah, I would assume it's more just there not being a lot of ARM chips that are great for laptops.
Yeah,
like ever.
Yeah,
like even the worst Intel Celeron that you're going to put in a Chromebook is probably a little bit better than whatever Qualcomm wants to charge for their laptop quality ARM chip. Or I don't know where MediaTek falls into that scale, but I would imagine it probably just ends up being slightly more performant. Or these OEMs probably already have really good bulk deals with Intel and AMD because they're probably selling hundreds of other PCs.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that might factor into it too. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that Chrome OS has supported ARM for a very long time, but the adoption hasn't really been any different than like Windows on ARM, where it's just a handful of them.
Yeah.
Especially since the Android layer has gotten better on x86 over time. That was kind of like the original selling point back when the Android apps were getting good, and why the Chromebook Plus and Pro had ARM chips, because they were like, well, you know, Android stuff has ARM, so yeah, but all of the apps are compiled for x86 too. So, or most of them. Or they don't have machine code at all. It's just Java.
Yeah, I was gonna say very likely they'll just cross compile. And now that not that it's all apps, but now that a lot of apps are just building straight on Google servers, or have they made that a requirement now? I actually don't quite remember.
It's
I know it will be a requirement. I'm just not sure if it has become that yet.
I believe it might be for new apps, but
yes,
it's
for new
not
apps
for. Yeah, I don't know for all. I know definitely not all of them, because my app is not my web wrapper for Photostock is not an app bundle, because it's like under a meg, so I didn't feel the need to go through the effort of giving it to Google in app bundle format. But I'm no, I have to at some point anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if it's an app bundle, a lot of times you already, like, unless you are writing very specific machine code, even if you have something that naturally gets converted into machine code in any capacity, yeah, Google would already be doing that and making a point of releasing a version that supports that. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, I don't know, that does make me curious about. Oh, weird, I can hear my voice in your mic.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I'm not that close to it. How loud is your headphones?
Not that loud. Yeah,
that shouldn't be.
It's very faint, but I do hear it. Like, I finish talking and then I can hear it back to me like a second and a half later.
Because I can see that happen in like my Audacity waveform sometimes when I record a podcast, but usually I have to turn up my headphones pretty loud, and I feel like Jitsi should be canceling some of that out. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm definitely hearing it. That's. Yep. Yeah, I could.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's about a second late, and I do hear it. Diablo hears it too. He says slight echo. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just because you mentioned this in the past, and I became aware of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit annoying on my podcast recordings, but I feel like that shouldn't be coming through an audio call.
For what it's worth, I don't know if it. Well, okay, Diablo's hearing it, so I was gonna say I don't know if it's necessarily coming through.
Let's see here.
I was gonna say I don't know if it would necessarily be going through there, because it would have to get picked up by OBS, and I've got that volume slightly adjusted downward, but obviously a little bit coming through. Like I said, I'm not complaining. I just, after you mentioned it in the past, and I just now noticed it, it's like, oh yeah, I'm suddenly aware of this.
Guess I need to get something with better sound isolation. Maybe that's what I get for Black Friday, is headphones with minimal noise bleed.
Well, what is your... Do you know what the gain is set to on your mic?
It's pretty low. Like it's right here, so not a lot of distance, but also I mean it's set pretty low. That's upside down, but
yeah.
If I do it this
way. Mine is over there, so I can't quite remember where the stopping point is, but
I mean it's not very high.
I if I'm interpreting that right, I think you do need to disconnect and reconnect though.
Oh, okay.
We're pro here. It's how we roll. I think that actually fixed a little bit of the artifacting in the video too. But no, the thing is, I mean, like, distance doesn't necessarily have to be a factor. I mean, literally, like, my mic is so close to me, I don't have to lean forward. I'm pretty sure I could stick out my tongue and actually just touch my microphone. Not that I'm gonna do that. Don't be weird. But yeah, you don't hear it from me, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I need to work on my audio situation just in general a little bit better. Maybe get I need to figure out, like, if the sound isolation is the issue, or if I just need to move this closer and turn down the gain generally. And also, there's a bunch of little audio things that have really started to bug me when I'm doing editing work that I'd like to try to address. Like just in here, it's all wood floors, or not wood, but like fake, whatever it is. But so a lot of echoing in here. I've noticed in some of my recordings, like I have like a tendency to like move my feet a little bit just when I'm sitting still, and like there's like little scrape noises coming through, like just my shoes moving.
Yeah.
So it's like great. I just need to stay perfectly still for an hour and a half, easy.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Believe me, so one of the things I used to listen to, well, I guess I still do, just they never put out episodes anymore. I used to listen to this podcast that I mean, it was a podcast about making podcasts, kind of. But the guy talking would always talk about a few best practices and things that he supported and believed in and stuff like that. One of the things that he talked really heavily about was, I now don't remember the term for it, but basically always being able to hear yourself directly, like as you're talking. So basically, like, your headphones should be plugged right into the mic,
right,
and feeding back to you your own voice. And when I started doing that, I did that for probably about a year and a half on the AP podcast, until I reached a point of deciding, you know what, I don't think I'm benefiting from this anymore, so I'm gonna stop. But yeah, I did that for a while, and I started noticing, oh yeah, I totally hear all these extra sounds I never realized the mic was going to pick up. Which, right, once I started noticing that, it's like, okay, how low can I get this gain? Like, man, yeah. I pushed the gain as low as I could get it. And yeah, that made a difference. I mean, I just became super, super aware of every little thing. And I'm not saying that you need to do that, but it will, yeah. Well, it will get you there.
It's the same thing as like when it's the same thing as when I'm taking photos for a review, right? Where like I can do a shit job initially. It's just there's it'll take longer to make it look good in the end, and also you can only go so far before you start to distort the image, and
yeah,
it has so like up front, if I make sure I have enough lighting and I dust all the dust off whatever I'm taking a photo of, then I'm spending like 2 minutes of work per photo. So yeah, I know it's just audio's a little, it's very fun when you don't have like I know the people that just like go in their closet and record, but I think my closet might actually be worse for that because it's pretty small, and also like it's not the door to it isn't like, it doesn't like seal, so it probably just have the same amount of noise probably.
Yeah,
and yeah, there's all the other stuff I can't do anything about. Like I can't do anything about people upstairs making like weird noises.
Everyone's now imagining what weird noises means. Don't tell them.
It's just very loud. It's just very loud walking. That's it. I don't know why they walk so loud.
Loud walking. That's what they call it today. Yeah. Anyway, so hey, on the plus side,
I'm sorry. I went back to, I was closing tabs and I went back to that page for the Chromium on the Chromium wiki with all the Chrome OS boards, and they also list the boards of the old like OnHub routers, because I guess those were kind of based on Chrome, and they also listed the boards for Google's like DisplayPort and HDMI adapters. And can you guess what the USB-C to DisplayPort adapter might be called?
DisplayPort to USB-C adapter?
Yeah. It's Google calls it the ding dong.
Oh, okay. I'll admit the the name that I had boiling in my head honestly was way dirtier.
It was not Ding Dong, yeah. Yeah. And they also they have some specifications for a USB power delivery tester, and they call that the Twinkie, which is kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Would you like the Ding Dong or the Twinkie?
I don't know, but I have a bunch of Hostess jokes that I'm trying to mature them to the point that they're actually good jokes, but it really it all just keeps coming back to Hostess. They're both Hostess, right? I think that was a Hostess brand.
Diablo said, "Who gives these names? Engineers, man."
Yeah.
When they're not naming things that are like the final public names, they're usually fun. You don't let them name like whatever you're gonna sell it as, because then it's something weird or doesn't make sense.
Then it's something straight out of Microsoft's playbook. Kirby's back with bar pizza.
Oh, pizza.
So I'm picturing the unhealthiest possible pizza, but also tasty as hell.
It's always the really disgusting pizza that tastes the best. Like the one where, like, if you definitely ate the whole pizza, you're going to the emergency room or something. I don't know what, but something.
At the bare minimum, your next trip to the bathroom is probably pretty unpleasant.
Oh,
but
yeah.
So, okay, ironically, this wasn't bar pizza, but speaking of pizza that's kind of like that, a few years ago, whatever, I went with a friend to this fairly new pizza place in town, and so we both order our pizzas, and we basically ordered like personal size or whatever, which are still fairly large. Her pizza, okay, so I got my pizza. I forget what it was, but it was fine. It wasn't great, but it was serviceable. And I was pretty disappointed because this place was supposed to just be amazing. She gets her pizza, and she just ordered a pepperoni pizza. I swear, she literally picked up a piece, just held it vertically.
Oh no.
And we watched the grease off this pizza just not drip, stream.
Oh no.
I watched this, just my mouth was hanging open like, you gotta be kidding. Like, how does this even happen? It was revolting. After she would pick up the piece, and apparently she had done this before. Like, she knew it was going to be like this. Anyway, after she let some of the oil drizzle off, she then proceeded to take a napkin and dab it, which naturally, yeah, that's definitely the smarter move, but... And she had to go through multiple napkins because there was enough left over after streaming it off that it was soaking through napkins.
Yummy.
Yeah. Not okay. Super not okay.
Yeah.
And people wonder why I don't eat pepperoni pizza.
Well, I wasn't really wondering, but good to know, I guess.
You were secretly curious. Maybe not wondering, but, you know, if I said I don't eat pepperoni pizza, you might have sat there and gone, wonder why.
I mean, I have that I wonder why question with a lot of other things about you, but I don't think your pizza eating habits has caused me to contemplate existence.
I mean, what if I told you that I really like Hawaiian pizza?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with Hawaiian. Used to be my favorite. These days, a little less. But dude, pineapple on pizza, it's a good thing. I don't understand people that are against this.
Yeah, I was trying to think of other stuff I could bring up. I don't really have anything going on besides sales stuff, and I'm trying to wrap up the review of this TicWatch Ultra, which like is fine. I don't really like it, but it's fine. Again, it's kind of huge, and I don't really. I'm not a huge fan of the dual display stuff where I'll take it off my arm. Where when the watch goes into ambient mode, it basically switches to this like just normal digital clock sort of. Yeah. So, and then if you like tap it, it turns on or when you like wake it up, like when you move the watch to your arm, the backlight turns on. I can't like get it to show up artificially, but like when I raise my arm,
right,
it lights up a little bit. So it's okay, it's fine. I know like the main benefit here, which I definitely can tell, is this watch lasts for a pretty long time. Like at one point it lasted for a couple days, and I only know that because when I charged it overnight, I didn't realize that my big charging brick was not actually plugged into the wall, so it wasn't actually charging, and I kept using it for like 2 days, and then it was like low battery. I'm like, what? Why is it? Oh, I haven't charged it in like 4 days. Okay. Now, granted, I wasn't using the watch super a ton during that period, but it's still better battery life than I usually get from a Wear OS watch, because I always leave like the always on display on, so that drains it. But like this is kind of like you have an always on display, but basically no battery drain because it's just a digital watch. But yeah, I still don't like how huge it is. This is a big boy watch. It's kind of huge. Like if I get I have the big Galaxy Watch 4, and it's like a little bit bigger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
very
you can
visibly
tell.
bigger.
Yeah, especially on like the side. Well, the side's not too different because Samsung bulked up the normal watch for it, but like it's a little bit different. That's not focusing.
That might be a little too close. Or it's hard. Sometimes you're
there. Yeah, there it's fine. Yeah. So yes, this is a big boy watch. But yeah, I don't. The one thing that bugs me also with this display design, and I reviewed the original TicWatch 3, the TicWatch Pro 3. And one of my issues with it was it had the same like dual pane screen where it switches between being a digital watch face and then being just normal Android Wear. But not Android Wear, Wear OS. But when it's in Wear OS, the screen is like very slightly hazy. Almost like what happens if like you take your phone into like a bathroom and have the shower on and it gets a little bit of that mist on the screen. Like that's what it's kind of like all the time. I probably wouldn't notice it if I didn't already have other Wear OS watches to compare it to, because it's not too big of a deal, but it's enough they're like, oh, this bugs me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like it's like just slightly out of focus all the time. But I mean, I was talking to someone else who has this watch, and like they don't care about that at all. So I know it's not an issue for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I did have to send an email to the PR person to ask like, what exactly is everything different with this watch versus the last one? Because the last watch they made, the Pro 3, it has like almost the same design. I think they changed the materials a little bit on this one, but I don't have that one anymore, so I can't see one-to-one. It has the same chipset for like a hot second. So the first TicWatch Pro 3 had the 4100. It was the first watch with a Snapdragon Wear 4100 chip. But for like a couple months this year, they were advertising that after it came out with the 4100 Plus. And they were doing that because they said that their watches had a custom coprocessor, so they felt like they could add the Plus, even though it's not the same thing as what Qualcomm calls a Snapdragon Wear 4100 Plus. They just use the same name. But people complained about that, probably rightfully so, and they stopped doing that. So this watch just has the regular 4100. So same chipset, kind of the same build. I know there's like a couple differences with like health tracking, but it's almost the same watch. They're kind of pulling an LG here. Just keep re-releasing the same thing. Kirby said I like. Oh, go ahead.
Kirby, only got the Fossil Gen 6 because the old Gen 5 wasn't going to be getting Wear OS 3.0. So actually, she's bringing up the Gen 6. I was just gonna say I'm trying to finish up my review for that one, and no denying I'm getting a bit of a late start on it, but so far I'm not really loving or hating the watch in any particular way. It's fine. I don't like the design elements to it. There are things about that bother me, not just the fact they sent me an ugly camo strap. I am passionately learning to hate their charging cradle. I think their charging cradle sucks.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, the one for this watch is also weird. It's like a little. It's actually worse than Fossils, I think. So I've got. Do I have it over here? I don't know where it went. Oh wait, it's over here. No.
So I like what they tried to do, because it is ideally this cradle that you can kind of just twist, and it'll connect basically at any orientation for the cable, which is awesome if you kind of want to pick up the watch and mess with it without having it on your wrist, and you can keep it charging. That's neat. It's particularly great when you're first setting up the watch, but whenever I connect the watch to it, it feels like if you just barely nudge the watch, if the table it's on gets bumped, if the smallest thing happens, it disconnects and then reconnects and wakes up. And more than once, I've now had it like on the charger, but apparently it just disconnected at some point and ran down and completely ran out of battery. So I'm not loving this. It's really, really irritating when you pick up the watch and find that it's completely dead, even though it was just sitting on the charger.
Yeah, that's been a common occurrence with me on just a lot of smartwatches, where a lot of them, the charger is just, it's just pins, and it feels about the same if it's charging or not. And sometimes if you just bump it, it gets disconnected. No one's really good at this.
No.
I feel like I haven't used an Apple Watch. I know they're like, they have their own thing that's like, they're kind of do like Samsung, where it's technically wireless charging, but like it doesn't work with normal wireless chargers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Other than that, I mean, I like the Fossil Gen 6 screen. The screen actually is, I don't want to oversell it, but I think their screen is fairly gorgeous. Like a good high pixel density. Um, the colors are really nice and rich. It's got a good refresh speed, so I don't really have anything to complain about there. Um, Sometimes gestures have a tendency to be very slow to wake up, which is more of a processor issue. Sleep tracking and all that stuff seems to work reasonably well as you really expect it to. Yeah, I don't know. So far, like, aside from the fact I don't really like how the watch looks per se, though to its credit, it's also not a thick watch. Like this, it's not overly thin or anything.
Right. It's just normal smartwatch dimensions.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like it's not like the LG Watch Sport where honestly you could accidentally just use the LG Watch Sport as, like, I don't know, a doorstop. It was huge.
Yeah, that was a big boy.
So yeah, this is about a decent size for a watch. Curvy got the one in smoke. Kind of wish I could see what that looks like, but yeah, I'm good with this, but I don't think it's great. To its credit, buttons seem good, the dials fine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It seems like usually what happens with the Fossil stuff is they get their new generation of watches out, and the Fossil branded one is just like, it's fine, it's a watch, and then they just really go crazy with the other brands, and that's usually the ones that look the nicest. Like whatever. I don't know if they're planning on making more like Skagen smartwatches, but those look nice. They did a couple weird, crazy, like translucent ones. I think last year. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do there. Also, the Gen 6 has a little dial on the side for scrolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not here.
I love.
I don't know. I love the dial. It's so much of a pain to like try to scroll on a smartwatch because your finger takes up half the screen.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I still have one big complaint about the dial. The fact that if you dial anywhere and then press the button, it is not like activating a thing.
Right.
But aside from that, the dial is just a better experience.
Yeah, no, Mobvoi won't do a dial or a spinning bezel or anything, and I don't really know why. Especially because you know what really made me upset is this watch. Let me see if you can see it. Oh, it's gonna focus. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So it has little like spinny parts that like spin, but they don't do anything. They're just for decoration. Like this part is actually moving. I can spin it, but it doesn't. So of course I was like, I got it out of the box. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It has one. Nope, no, it doesn't.
Okay, in point of fact, so the Fossil Gen 6 has your main dial, which is also a button, and then it has the two buttons flanking it. The two buttons flanking it, technically, you actually can spin them. They don't do anything, but they definitely are loose. You can spin them. So, that's, I think, just they made buttons that happens to also be spinnable. I'm not gonna hate on that design decision. It's fine, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. So after using this watch, I know that this is gonna sound kind of bad, but it's just so exceptionally unremarkable. It's not bad in any really significant way, except again the charger annoys me. But it's not. I don't know. I guess I wanted a little bit more out of this in some way, either look prettier or do a little bit better. The battery life is fine, but not exceptional, though I have not done a test with the always on display turned off yet. I actually just put it on my wrist, realizing I still need to do that. So I'm going to do that test and see how it turns out. My expectation is it'll actually be pretty good, but I need to see.
Yeah, it's just it's the same holding pattern that we've had for a while with Wear OS until the Galaxy Watch 4 came out, where we're just kind of waiting for something to be different with the software.
Yeah.
Like it's fine, but like there's more stuff they could implement, and they're like still kind of sort of working on that with Wear 3. Which I'm still interested to see how that goes, because the vibe I get from using the watch for an extended period of time is that like the parts Google made probably aren't done yet. Like I think they just sort of like they rushed it on this, and the stuff that still needs to be implemented in Wear OS 3 for the most part is like the stuff Samsung replaces anyway, or would replace anyway. Like
yeah,
most of the UI, like all the apps, like Samsung was going to do that anyway, so Google's probably like, all right, you can have, you know, Wear OS 3 public beta, you know, that's fine, you're going to replace it all anyway, what does it matter? So like I imagine they're still probably tweaking what material you looks like on a watch. That was it, some version of that was in whatever emulator they published a while back. But they're probably still working on that. I know they announced updates for like all their first party apps, and none of those have really materialized yet, as far as I know. Like I think they were working on like a new Google Maps and new Google Keep. None of that has really happened yet. So yeah, like the Galaxy Watch, like it has Wear OS 3 technically, but it seems like maybe it's just like the APIs. And even then, I don't know if it really has like complete APIs, because it like there's like a setting menu for being able to choose what the default assistant is, but like it doesn't do anything yet.
Yeah.
And I know part of that is probably just because like the Google Assistant app or whatever has not been updated to use that, but it's probably still missing some stuff.
Yeah, I expect it's sort of like buying a puzzle from a store, and they literally intentionally only gave you like a half or a quarter of the puzzle, and you're just gonna have to wait till they send you the next installment.
Yeah.
Which, now that I think about it, would actually make kind of an interesting business.
Like those subscription boxes.
Yeah, basically.
But for half of a puzzle.
Well, okay. Now, I know that sounds really stupid, but bear with me. Imagine a puzzle that actually comes as kind of, you know, sort of seasons or installments or something like that. But each installment is itself like a solid puzzle, but by getting each new installment, like you're getting a whole new puzzle, but it's also giving you like the next part of an even bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, I like this idea. I'm not a puzzler, so that's not something I'm going to do, but I think there's someone out there who would really love that idea.
I will say with the Watch 3, it was nice a couple weeks ago when I was trying to walk somewhere I hadn't walked to before, and I could just get the live navigation on my watch, which I hadn't used since I switched to Samsung watches, so that was nice. But yeah, so yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Google's interpretation of Wear OS, and also if they're gonna let anyone else customize it, or if anyone will want to. Because
I'm sure someone wants to.
Because like I know they let a little bit of customization already, like even just excluding what Samsung was doing. Because like the even this watch, the most of the UI is the same as like every other Wear OS watch, but they do have a Mavoi did put in their own app drawer. So it's not like the list of apps. It's just like this grid thing.
Yeah, the app drawer is the one thing that I've seen almost every OEM seems to do their own take.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
So I don't know. Maybe that was the one thing they were allowed to change before. But yeah, I'm interested to see if, because I would love to know if Samsung just got a sweet deal and they're getting more breathing room than what Google would let Mobvoi or Fossil do. I don't know. So that will be interesting. Because also I know Oppo, when they made the Oppo watch, that was very different than normal Wear OS. But also I'm pretty sure that watch did not have like Google services, so it didn't need to go through any certification, so they could do whatever they wanted with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like really Wear OS. I don't know. I might be misremembering, because I think they sold it outside of China too, so it's not just purely a totally separate thing. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens there, especially if Material U shows up on like stock Wear OS. Is that something other companies are going to want to use?
So my hunch, well, okay, you bring up Material U, and it's funny because the moment that you say that, my first thought is, oh crap, I hope not. I'm imagining so many companies looking at that and going, especially Fossil, though also anyone else that does actual like jewelry oriented watches, they have to look at Material U and go, oh hell no, we will not sell that. Because, you know, everyone knows I'm not a huge fan of Material U, but even as setting that aside, like, that is not an aesthetic that works for all those designer companies. They're not going to want that in a smartwatch. Right. Not that a lot of them are even making smartwatches, but when they do,
yeah, they want the look to match their branding and their watch design.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole thing with fashion products.
It's supposed to be. And that's okay. I have no negative judgment towards this. But yeah, you gotta have something a little bit more accessible. Curvy, yeah. Corbin has had a mechanical keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right right here. Yeah. Sometimes I switch to the even louder one, and then Cody gets very upset with me.
I wouldn't. Okay, yeah.
It is extremely loud. Like, it's even like even when I use it when I'm talking to someone, and then I'm done talking to them, I take my headphones off, and then I'm like, whoa, this got louder.
Yeah. No. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I feel like every company is gonna really want more control if they can get it. Granted, there are gonna be a couple that are gonna stick pretty close to stock, more out of laziness and not wanting to spend the money. But I feel like Fossil has to at least be looking at it and saying, how much would it cost for us to skin and style the watch for each of the sub brands? I don't see Mobvoi getting into that because I don't think they care. They their whole thing is putting out a watch a little bit cheaper than everyone else, and
I don't know. I could see, because also they do that, but also they do try. I would say probably harder than Fossil at Wear. I don't know if it usually ends up being good, but they have their own entire clone of Google Fit, like Samsung has been doing for years, and Fossil kind of does, but also Fossil doesn't really try. I was trying to get around the Mobvoi Health app. It's a lot. It's the same feature set of Google Fit, pretty close.
It's not actually saying that much.
Yeah, but it is a whole, they don't need to do that. Google Fit's already it's mediocre. But they still went through the effort of doing their entire own thing, so they can try to implement things differently. So I don't know. I think Mobboy would try it. I think maybe if Fossil did it, they would probably just make a skin and then just swap out like the colors or the font for each of their brands.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't go through the effort of making like a whole different thing. I don't think.
I generally agree. I think there might be a few exceptions, but yeah, I'm sure I don't think they're gonna go so far as to like redesign the launcher just because. I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. By the way, for no reason in particular, just to quickly update my FedEx package, or sorry, my Pixel 6 has not moved. So I'm pretty sure it isn't coming today. And for that matter, just because this is stupid enough, according to this, it's scheduled for delivery yesterday. So,
oh, it's time traveling.
Huh?
It's time traveling.
Yeah. So, I don't think that's gonna get unboxed today. We'll see, but highly doubt it. I think it'd be a miracle if it actually arrives today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did order a portable monitor that I think is coming next week. Because I'm trying to visit family for Thanksgiving, but I also now am working for a lot of that period. So I need to do work in a way that is usually difficult on a single 16:9 laptop screen. So we'll see how that ends up being when it gets here. It says it supports like, DisplayPort over Type-C and also like power pass through. So I guess I would just plug my charging brick into the monitor and then plug that into the laptop. I'll have to play around with it. I bet something's not going to work right because it's like Thunderbolts and nothing ever works right.
I would almost guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah. I might be making an emergency run to Best Buy the night before I leave because that didn't work out. Who knows?
Yeah. No. There is something to be said for sometimes you just have to have more screen real estate, and if you're not gonna cart around like a whole extra monitor, then yeah, you got to go with one of the portable monitors. It's just a must.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've kind of wanted one of those for a while because I do like working from random places sometimes, and I always have to work slower when that happens because single laptop screen versus my ultra wide on my desktop, it's a pretty big productivity difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I've been here for 2 hours. I probably need to go.
Funny, I was thinking about the same thing for myself, which...
Oh, are we gonna do a synchronized sign-off for the first time in like 5 months?
Actually, I think we did just, 3 weeks ago or something?
I don't think it was
it wasn't too long ago. We both took off at the same time. No, but you're right, it was more than 3 weeks. I just don't remember how long. I don't know. I wasn't necessarily gonna bail out quite this soon, but I was thinking I might push it until like top of the hour or something, if I can. It's hard to say because I'm running on very little sleep, and so I figured I'm probably not gonna go super late, but I'd keep going a little while longer.
Well, you can have fun with that.
Diablo's asking if you tried any of the Netflix games.
No, because they weren't appearing for me. on my account yet. Because I was at least gonna try to take like screenshots of it for my article, but it wasn't showing up for me yet. Even though it was through the Android app, so it should have worked, but whatever.
Yeah, gotta love how
those staged rollouts, man, they're set kills enthusiasm.
Yeah, the staged rollouts, which I have a micro rant just to say, holy crap, the biggest problem with staged rollouts, kind of like what you said, it kills enthusiasm, but man, you go look for something on the day that it's announced or you hear about it, and it's rolled out to a few people but not you, and then you're thinking like a day or two later you're still like, all right, I wonder if it's on mine yet, so you go look again, still not there. You have, I think with the average person, you have maybe up to 3 times that someone's going to remember to look for something before they just give up and never look again. I imagine staged rollouts on so much stuff, they happen and people just never see the thing for months, even though it may have rolled out to them like a week later. Drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's never fun. Well, I'm gonna go now.
All right, man. Well, take it easy. I will catch you in Discord, of course, but I guess next week for another RambleCast.
Yeah, because I don't have any podcasts to record for the foreseeable future, because I haven't had much time for that lately, and also I'm fine for the next like 3 weeks. So
yeah, that does help.
Yeah, I've got our last OS2 one going up, I think Friday or Saturday, and then one after that, which is a little bit of being a pain to edit, but I think it's definitely one of the best ones so far, because it's related to Doom, and it's a fantastically terrible development story that's just got so much wrong with it. So it's definitely one of my favorite subject matters so far. Like, just restreams like, what the fuck just happened? How did this happen? It's great.
Oh, yeah. It's that classic example of a game that is so beloved, but it had to be such an insane hack to get everything working.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and also Doom is one of those things where it was such a big deal that like anything 1 degree of separation from Doom is easily like its own whole thing you can research and investigate. It's great. Kind of like I was playing out a couple of things I might do for like the iPod, not even just like the iPod itself, but like stuff related to it, just because like it was so big that anything related to it is also pretty important and interesting stuff. But yeah.
Are you gonna do the Zoom?
Yeah, probably eventually. I just, with this, I'm trying not to do like all the ones like everyone knows everything about already first.
I think no one knows anything about the Zoom.
I mean, people remember the Zoom,
well,
but yeah, I'm sure there's
existed,
like,
but
yeah,
I think
yeah, the details are
knows
probably, yeah, the details are probably hazy. Yeah,
I mean, very technically, I owned one.
Mm-hmm. And you know nothing.
I know nothing about that thing. No, for real. I owned one for, I don't know, 18 hours, and I know nothing about it. I bought it in preparation for a very long road trip from Vegas to Oregon, and yeah, brought it home, unboxed it, went to work putting stuff on there, and we'll just say I couldn't return it fast enough the next day. That thing went back with a vengeance.
I'm sure if I look into it, it's gonna be like my favorite flavor of like corporate pettiness between that and the iPod. I'm sure there's way too much of that. I remember there was that story going around for forever. It might just be like an urban legend, but I think there's like one news story where like Bill Gates said like his kids weren't allowed to use iPods, like they had to use Zunes.
Oh, I heard.
I think that happened.
I know I heard something like that. I don't think that was true.
Okay.
I know there was some story about like if you worked at Apple, you weren't allowed to use it, which I don't think anyone ever cared. But like we hear the same thing even today. Like if you work at Apple, they're pretty much going to give you hell if you walk in with an Android phone. So yeah, it's a company culture thing, evidently. Which makes me wonder, like, are there any people working at Apple who are like, but I like my Chromebook?
No one's ever said that.
Yeah, no one's ever actually said that. Well, wait, is Austin in the room?
Oof.
But yeah, Apple, you gotta love it. The culture there is creatively malicious.
Yeah.
All right.
Have fun, I guess.
Yep. Well, take it easy, man.
Goodbye, everyone. I will see you again later.
Adios. All right. So I can close that window. Let's see. So we're gonna do a quick. There's the looking for it. That's the one. Quickly setting a thing up here. We want to. Oh wait, that's not gonna work. Let's try this again. No, I don't want to do that. Why is it not giving me a different option? Okay. I don't know why this scene got ripped apart, but it did. Video capture device. Okay. So add that. We'll pick the right input. Curvy, your MacBook came today too, huh? Nice. Oh, wait, why did it... there we go. Pick the right size. Not that I think anyone's super excited over an unboxing of something like this, but hey, we're gonna do it anyway. I do have the new MacBook Pro sitting right behind me. But where is our... I didn't set up my unboxing view beforehand, so what? Make sure I'm actually looking at this in the right orientation. I'm not. Okay, I need to flip it again. That's weird. Why is that? Huh. Oh, but I could. Wait, is that right? Oh, no, I'm dumb. Transform, flip, vertical. That's more like it. While we're at it, should I... Guess I should also flip this on the horizontal. Okay, we're almost there. I'm figuring this stuff out as I go. That looks correct. Okay. Let's see. So Curvy is still working on transferring stuff over. Yeah, man, setting up a computer takes too long. I know that sounds like a selling point for Chromebooks, but I just can't. I cannot like a Chromebook. It just is never gonna work, I think. I'm eternally and forever not going to like Chromebooks. It's funny because I used to say that about Macs. Here I am. So, let's see. Where did I put? There we go. Move this around, kind of position it so I can work with it. And boom, we have the unboxer view. There. That's kind of a good, perfect place for it. Ignore this. It's a tile. Sometimes I have tiles on my desk. Okay, so there's not going to be much to this. We're just doing kind of the quick unboxing because obviously the setup process is extensive, timely, and not super exciting. But wow, this has some new electronic smell immediately out of the box. Holy crap, this is thicker. Huh. This feels definitely thicker and heavier than my current one. Yeah, there is a very tangible weight difference to this. I knew it was different, but there's actual, like, I didn't think I would be detectable just by picking it up. Anyway, the infamous plastic tear off. Bottom of it has a, like, serious etched in MacBook Pro, like, I guess logo or whatever. That's like really cut in there. This feels more industrial than the previous model or previous generation. I have it flipped around for me, so I'll do the lift, which of course promptly turns the computer on for the first time. All right. Ooh, the keys. These keys are so much better than the old one. For real. These are like good. That's so much better. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Thanks. Trackpad, of course, isn't going to be any different. Took a weirdly long... Oh. I can't wait until I can get to the settings app and be able to reverse the scroll. I so passionately hate having to scroll up when I'm scrolling a list down. Drives me bonkers.
Contains a built-in screen reader called VoiceOver. If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up your Mac, press the Escape key.
Okay, it's trying way too hard to talk to me. Diablo, no free cleaning cloth? Only with the iMacs. How dare they? Let's see, accessibility features, adapts, blah blah blah. Not now. Thank you. Okay. Well, and that part I'll get to later. Yeah, so keyboard I like. This will sound weird, but it does feel weird not to have the touch bar up there. I don't hate it like some people do. I will say, looking at the notch that everyone made a big deal about, I feel like immediately I'm not really bothered by it being there. I kind of almost instantly looked away from it, like not in the avoiding it sense, but more just the not noticing it sense. Let's see. Yeah, so I just typed a password that if anyone seriously tries, they could probably figure out by watching the video, but who cares? It's just a Wi-Fi password, so it's not like anyone's going to be coming out to hang out at my house and steal Wi-Fi. Let's see. Anything else? I guess I can move this out of the way. Of course, charging cable, random. Wait, what is in this book pack? Let's find somewhere I can set the laptop down so it doesn't go careening off the desk. Okay, just out of curiosity, because it feels like there's, why does it feel like there's something else, or why is there something else on here? Did they make this just an intentionally thick? I think they did. It just feels like this thing feels like it should be holding more than just a couple sheets of paper. Like almost like there'd be a cleaning cloth in this. And then Mega Brick. It still bugs me. This brick only has one port. This thing needs to have more to it. The finest index cards. Yes. But seriously, why have a brick this large? What do I have for scale? What? There's got to be something in here I have for scale. I feel like everyone had a Pixel 2 XL. Yeah, so just in terms of width, this is basically the same width as the Pixel 2 XL. Obviously not quite the same height, but still, like, this is... the width isn't even, I think, different. It's just a very chunky brick compared to what Apple normally sends. And I just feel like they should have another port in this. Yeah, screw it. We can pull off plastic from this, too. Where's the pull tab? There should be... Oh. Yeah, screw it. We can tear. We don't care. Alright. I'll mess with that later. And there's, yeah, nothing else in here. So, really quick, just because, let's also pull out the MagSafe cable. I'm kind of curious what the strength of this thing is. Oh, the cable's braided. That's actually kind of nice. I'm so used to Apple always going with the rubbery cables that kind of just don't feel as good. So going braided is a nice touch. And God, this cable is actually like super, super in there. All right, come free. Okay. smelling so much new electronic smell. Alright, and if I orient this way, you can watch a million YouTube videos that are going to show you a better angle than this, but wow, that doesn't seat super easily, but yeah, so you can definitely pull the laptop using just the cable. I probably shouldn't do this, but yeah, that totally works. So this will definitely not keep the laptop from falling off. But if you do lift so it separates at an angle, that comes off pretty easy. So literally lift up or down and it just pops right out. So, and obviously, yeah, if you just like apply weight on it. How about doesn't work the same way this direction. If you push or pull that direction, this direction, whatever, that will also move the laptop. So it has to be up or down motion to really make the difference. Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to pull it directly, like straight out. I can't. Holy crap. Legitimately, that is hard to do. Like, pop it up, no problem. Push it down, no problem. It comes right out. But if you just try to pull this straight out, like, that takes a lot of strength. That's way more strength than this should take. Like, this is white knuckling it levels of strength. Apple, magnets are too strong. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not comfortable with that, actually. That's a little weird. Well, okay, so I'll have to mess with that more later. So that means this thing is also going to be absolutely devastating if you put it near memory cards. That was the biggest thing that bothered me about MagSafe before. You couldn't put it near hard drives or memory cards or a bunch of other stuff. So now that's a problem that's back. I always felt like that was the reason they took MagSafe out. I could be wrong, but it just made sense. MagSafe was kind of bad for you in that sense. And now it's gonna be bad again. Let's see. So we don't care about the data and privacy. I am not doing Migration Assistant. Because frankly, I know better. Migration Assistant can be really, really screwy if you do that. So yeah, won't be plain and simple, not gonna be doing that. Let's see, and then signing in, I will do that part later. Let's see, does anyone have questions? Like upfront questions? I assume not, but wow, this feels smoother, like the texture just feels smoother, like not a lot, but this almost feels glassy. It's nice. Well, satiny actually would be the better way to say it. The top of this has a very satiny feel. Is the Apple a fingerprint magnet? It feels like it would be, but I think my fingers are just really clean right now, or clean enough. It certainly isn't. I mean, I would actually say maybe not, because I'm not seeing it leaving like any serious smudging when I'm pressing on it. I can't like wipe away any spot and see like a line resulting from it. So yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not seeing much. It does still have the texture of the back, however, does have a like if my other hand was like very barely damp on one spot, and I just noticed that I had a smudge. Ironically, it's the one part of the laptop that's covered by my body. I had a smudge right here, and in this spot, like I had to, or I wiped it away and it wasn't a problem. But yeah, it still does that thing where if you've got some sort of moisture on your hand or something, it sort of sticks in the texture of the surface for a little bit. You can wipe it away, but there's something different about it. Like there's obviously a texture and small amounts of something goes in. Austin, does it blend? If you get a BlendTech 9000, I believe it will. I don't know. Do they still? I know BlendTech still exists. Is there a BlendTech 9000? Is what I don't know. I'm gonna operate on the assumption that there is, but who knows? Let's see. All right. Is it lappable? See, that sounds like a really weird thing to ask, but I know what you mean. Truthfully, in a weird way, I think because it's heavier, it actually feels a little better on the lap than the old one did. The old one always felt like it was going to slide off easier. This, I mean, it definitely is still slippery on my pajama pants, because who the hell would be wearing real pants if they work at home all the time? But yeah, it feels like this will just stay on top of the lap a little easier. Man, the screen is so much thicker. The body's thicker too. I think they both grew about the same thickness, but it's more noticeable on the screen just because the screen used to be so absurdly thin. Let's see. Oh, and then any particular notable observations about the let's see. I can't actually see a whole lot as I'm focusing, so this is kind of a best guess focus. Actually, I think I had it right the first time. Let's see. I don't think I actually really have much observation about this. I still feel like they screwed up with the memory card slot. One, if you're gonna put in a memory card slot, do it right. Please do it right, and make it a high-end memory card, or make it support high-end memory cards, not a standard from 11 years ago. And the same kind of goes with the HDMI port. They could have done that better. I need to cut my nails. Does your finger touch the lens of the notch when you're opening from that spot? I will test that in just a second. Really quick, flipping this around. So there's a MagSafe port, 2 USB-C, and the headphone jack. Headphone jack, again, used to be on the other side. I think this is probably actually better just because headphones, like the pair I'm wearing, bear in mind, I'm currently kind of a mirror image. But this is on the left. This is on my left side. So the MacBook now has its headphone jack on the same side as my headphones have a cord hanging down. So it doesn't need to cross the body anymore. I can see that it being kind of a good thing. I don't think it matters that much, but you know, it's a thing. Okay, let's see. Does the thumb hit the lens? So I haven't moved my thumb. Oh yeah, 100%. That's gonna... Okay, let's try this. Yep. In fact, I can see just a little bit of a fingerprint smudge right... Like, it's kind of half on and half off the lens. But yep. Yeah, there is no way to avoid that. Your thumbprint absolutely hits that lens. So yeah, they screwed up some stuff with this. I don't see a need for this. Not at all. People don't want the webcam. Take it out, and then you don't have to put in a notch. Let's see. So, don't skip the Apple ID. I'll put that in. Let's see. Diablo, yeah, they should have given the best or add more C ports. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I get why they decided to put in an HDMI port. That kind of makes sense to me, and I get what they were going for with the MagSafe port. I don't think that was the brightest or the most successful decision, but I know what they were shooting for, and I get it. Nevertheless, yeah, I don't think this worked as well as they thought it would. Let's see. Diablo. Removing the camera doesn't affect people who don't use it, but it sucks for Zoom users. Yes and no. Like, think about how many people bought external web cameras, either because they wanted a better position for the camera, which, you know, if it's part of your laptop, it's probably not in the right position. Chances are you have a camera staring up your nose if you're using it as a laptop. So yeah, I'm not trying to judge too harshly, but I just don't think I don't think they needed the notch. I don't think they need the camera. Like, there are so many people who don't want it. And it feels weird to me that didn't come up as a topic. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one saying, hey, it's okay. We can have Macs without the cameras. That actually makes sense to me. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm the only person who seems to have this opinion. I mean, obviously not everyone bought dedicated cameras, but there certainly are a lot of them. Like, that was the big thing. Everyone rushed out and ordered dedicated cameras, even if they had, like, so many Mac users I saw ordering cameras. Like, why? Why do you need a camera in the laptop if you're going to order a separate one anyway? And it just seemed like such a common thing to do. And even if not, like, one of the other things that they could have done is use smartphones as a webcam. I feel like a laptop doesn't really need a webcam if you can use your smartphone to replace that. And everyone's smartphone is going to be better than what their webcam does. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying get rid of webcams entirely. Like, it's great if some companies want to do it, but I think Apple is spinning its wheels unnecessarily to put them in. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Anything else? I don't know. I'm sort of short on other topics, and again, I think it's safe to assume at this stage there will be no Pixel 6 dropping today. Quickly refreshing to see. Nope, nothing has moved since 1:18 p.m. So 3.5 hours ago. Yeah, 3.5 hours ago. It's not showing up today. Because in theory, it's a 4-hour drive from Troutdale, Oregon-ish, give or take. It's in that ballpark. So if it left there right now, it would still get here at 9 o'clock, which is supposedly an hour after FedEx is supposed to stop delivering. And even then, let's see. The other possibility is, because this is just, let's see, can I do this? Where's our window capture? One thing that's been bugging me, absolutely infuriating to me, is, yeah, we can do this. This won't dox me. FedEx Tracker. This is killing me right now. It shows you, this is the fully expanded view. I can't get more details than this. It shows you a city name and then says it's in transit. Does that mean it's going to the city? Does that mean it's leaving the city? Which is it? It says Troutdale, Oregon in transit. Does that mean it's on its way? Did it hit Troutdale and has been leaving Troutdale? Has it left Troutdale? Is the package secretly 15 minutes away from my house and just about to show up? I don't know this, and their tracker is completely useless. The one thing that it does tell me is that the delivery's on time for its scheduled delivery either today or yesterday, both of which this page tells me. I hate FedEx so much. FedEx, please just do better. There was a period in time I actually thought FedEx had kind of cleaned up its act, and then, holy God, they just got so much worse again. Austin, I'm trying to get your heat working. It's 57 in the house right now. Holy crap. Here's a tip. Turn off any and all ad blockers and open the Android Police website. Go to any post, but probably something longer. What you're trying to do is get as many ads to load as possible, and I can't think of a site that'll do more of it. So that should spin up your processor pretty hard. Then let's see, your computer should actually keep you warm after that. Yep, I've actually seen this work. Not even a joke. Very literally. There was somebody I knew in college. AMD fans are about to hate me. There was someone I knew in college. Him and his roommate. They both had PCs built with AMD processors. They absolutely never turned on the heat in their rooms. They didn't have to. Those processors heated the rooms for them. Even running idle, they produced a lot of heat. Yeah. That was quite the situation. Let's see, bounce to a different view. Hey, there we go. Let's see, Austin. I think it means it was transferred to a new truck, but not a sorting center. Oh, right. But the thing is, here's all of it. I mean, look at this. Back on Wednesday, a week ago, to have the picked up statement, the shipment information, that's all good. Arrived at FedEx location, left FedEx origin facility. Then, ever since that, every single entry just says in transit. I mean, they could have just moved from truck to truck, but at a certain point in here, I would have expected something more telling than just in transit. I think this is just FedEx, like, intentionally being as useless as possible. Which this actually has me wondering, since I just had another package come, that was shipped overnight. I want to see how that differs. Also, they don't have stuff even in chronological order anymore. FedEx is so bad. Okay, this is different. Let's see, can I show this without doxing myself? Looks like it. Okay. Can't see anything that would be risky information. Yeah, this one from last week. It shows arrival and departure at hubs. It shows it going on the truck, the delivery. Yeah, all of this stuff it's showing. So it must be the level of tracking that a low cost package gets. This is the only explanation I can think of. And by low cost, I mean the shipper paying for Smart Post has basically effectively said, yeah, you don't get tracking information that's going to be useful. Which is FedEx intentionally obscuring information so that they can goad you into spending more on shipping. Which, screw FedEx. FedEx sucks. Let's see. Austin. It's been bad ever since Tim Hanks left. Where's the HTC Thunderbolt? Jeez. Damn. Okay. That yawn hit me suddenly. Yeah, well, at this point, I believe I'm now officially the last person getting my Pixel 6. So, that's fun. At this stage, I do feel reasonably confident it'll arrive tomorrow, but I also thought it was going to arrive today. So what do I know? But yeah, anyway. So I think I'm pretty much out of things to ramble about. I've unboxed a laptop. I've talked about an editorial. I have unintentionally and unwittingly played a part in pimping Corbin's podcast. I think it's been a pretty good, successful night so far. But yeah, anyway, so for this weekend, let's see, probably gonna game stream, I think. Since that editorial ended up sucking a lot more of my time than I expected, I need to do a lot of review stuff, but I'm gonna be like doing nothing but that in the movie post for the next few days. So fair chance, fair chance I will have to do at least do a photo edit stream or something to that effect. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff I need to clear, so that'll all be in the works, I think. Plus, I don't have the box here. It didn't get announced yet. It gets announced tomorrow night. I do have a thing that is getting announced this week, which is weird because I thought their announcement date was supposed to be Where's my keyboard? Did they move it? I honestly don't remember. Oh, crap. I saw the weirdest thing when I opened up Twitter. I'm not going to read this out loud because it's too stupid. For a second, I misinterpreted what this was. But Ryan is making fun of a not great human being. Or wait. Yeah, okay. Somebody getting super weird and sending the wrong thing to our tip line. So, wow. Anyway, not what I was looking for. I wanted to pop into Twitter and find my list of upcoming events post. Yeah, here it is. Oh. Hey, okay. I guess that is correct. I thought this last item on the list was supposed to be today. Anyway, I have that. Whatever it is they're about to announce, it's here. So, yeah. And I can't say more than this, but I have the good one. So I'll be doing a review on that. I don't have enough time to actually do the review for announcement time, but there it is. Of some note, that date is actually incorrect in a way. It would be correct, except what they're actually doing is the announcement will be for everyone in the US. That announcement is actually on November 4th at night, because they're doing it early morning on November 5th in China. So, or rather, that's when the announcement officially happens, and they're co-announcing it in the US at that time. So, anyway, point is, I have Thing. I will have things to say about Thing. That's all I have to say about Thing. For now. Thing. Okay, so yeah, anyway, I think that about wraps it up. I don't have anything else to babble about. So I don't think, do I? I don't think so. So with that, thanks everyone for coming by, hanging out, being part of the conversation, giving me something to ramble about. Happy to have all your smiling faces with me. I will be back this weekend in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. Let's see. Trying to think. As usual, if you'd like to contribute anything to the channel, help keep it running and happy, there are links down in the description for Streamlabs and Patreon. And as always, thank you to everyone who's tipped, contributed, obviously Diablo for the continued support, and Austin, I believe, was the... Damn, now I'm actually unsure. Austin or Carson? Both of you have been really good about this. I just can't remember who the most recent one was. I apologize. Anyway, yeah. I swear it is right on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not sure enough. But thank you to both of you. Anyway, let's see. So, yeah, that about wraps it up. I'm gonna go get the MacBook started on its setup process and then get a little bit of sleep, because I'm a yawning boy. And with that, good night, everybody. Oh, wrong button. Or no, not wrong button, wrong path. There's our out card. All right, for real this time. Good night, everybody.